Hey folks, I hope you all are doing well. This is me Sudhir Ghagre. I am organizer of Azure Developer Community Amravati region. Along with that, I am third year student from Sri Sant Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering. Today, I have with me Murli Dinanathale. So I would like to welcome Murli. Welcome Murli. And if I talk about Murli is a software architect specialist with a decade of successful experience in architecting and building software solutions to solve business problems. At present, Murli is doing digital transformation with the help of artificial intelligence and Microsoft Stack. He specializes in content management technology, including SharePoint, Alfresco, and regularly attends national and international conferences training session to understand new technology trends such as SharePoint Online, Azure, etc. Murli is a strong believer in the power of positive thinking in the workplace. Along with that, Murli regularly develops internal technical sessions to mentor employees within the organization as well. So, along with that, he also maintains a blog with name codingfreaks.net. So, over to you, Murli, now for the next further proceeding. Hello, Murli sir. Just sorry to interrupt you, but I guess you have unmuted the mic. So can you please mute the mic, please? Also, it would be if it is possible for you to turn on your cam, so it would be great for all of us. Great.
Okay, sorry for that confusion. Okay, so
Yeah.
today we'll
Okay.
be talking about the Azure fundamentals. So I'll walk you through the some of the basic concept how you can get started with the Azure fundamentals. Okay. Okay, so I'm Muralidharan. So I'm working as a company called Quanticate as an associate director in the software innovation team. So we use the SharePoint and the Power Platform and the machine business intelligence and the machine learning to develop the applications. Okay, so in today's agenda we will see what is Azure and the history of Azure, how it get evolved, and the uses of Azure and how you can use Azure. Okay, and what are the different subscriptions that are available, and we'll get straight into the demo. Okay, first, so what is Azure? So Azure is a cloud computing services that is offered from Microsoft. So what do you mean by cloud computing services? It is all the processes, all the services, processes, the memory storage, everything will be used from the cloud system rather than using it from your local machine. So everything over handled by the Microsoft by using the Azure technologies. Okay, there are different kinds of services are available. One is the software as a services. So that means, so already the software is built in, so basically we will be creating in a kind of a subscriptions, then we will be using it. So we will not be installing much into the system, so everything will be mostly it will be used over the browser. The best example is Office 365. So that is one of the best example for the software as a services. So everything is there, you just consume it. So platform as a service. So here, so they will be providing some of the layer, so where you can build your application and deploy it directly. So here you will not be worried about what is the system capacity, whether I need to use what kind of operating system. So you will not be worried about anything, just you will be directly deploying the application and you will be using it. The third one will be the infrastructure as a services. So here, so they will be provided the system, so you need to install the operating system, what kind of memory that you need, what kind of storage that you need, everything you need to configure. Then you will be building your virtual machines. Then on top of it, you will be we will be installing kind of IaaS or any other web servers to host the applications. So these are the well-known common services that will be provided by the Microsoft Azure. So there are some more services that will be available on the Azure. So one is the database as a services. So this one will be like, for example, SQL Server. So Azure provides a SQL services as a database services. So we will no need to install SQL Server, or we no need to configure the memory or the storage for the SQL Server. So the SQL Server options are already available. So we will create a database and we will be directly using it. And function as a services, so here also it's a kind of a function. So this will be triggered when a particular event is occurred. So what happens is this will be triggering a particular function, it executes behind the code, and it gets the results, and the application will be shut down. So this is called function as a services, or it is simply called serverless options as well. And the security as a services, now you know there are a lot of security options are evolved, hacking and other things are happening. So the security as a services, Microsoft provide Sentinel as the option, which will be used as a security as a services. And analyticals as a services, so this one will be used for Microsoft Stream Analytics, and other services which will be used for analytics as a services. So you can use the Power BI or any other big data informations, then that you can use it for your analytics. Okay, so the next one is the history of Azure. So initially, Microsoft they have coded the name Project Red Dog as the Azure. So that's called the internal code name. Then later in October 2008, very initial release of the Azure has been released in the professional developer conferences. And later in 2010 February, they have officially renamed as a Windows Azure rather than the Project Red Dog. Then it is released as a Windows Azure. So there are a lot of confusions with the name Microsoft Azure, Windows Azure. Then they have renamed completely as March 2014 as a Microsoft Azure. So there is no Windows Azure. So here it is called as a Microsoft Azure. Okay, so uses of Azure. So what are the different uses? So why I need to use Azure? So rather than I can build my own application into my local machine, then I can deploy it, and people can access it over the internet. So everything is possible. But what happens is if a system get crashed, or you wanted to use more memory, or there are some kind of for example, during the college admission days. Okay, so everyone will be logging into the admission portal. They will be try to access some more college information. So that time you need more capacity of the application server. So if you use everything on the on-premises server, increasing the hardware as well as the software for a specific period of time, it will take a lot of time, as well as it will take a lot of money as well. Once the peak period is done, then the extra hardware is no longer used, so it will be a kind of a waste. Okay, so instead of avoiding that, so we can go for the cloud servers. So on the cloud servers, you can do a scale up and scale down. So that means during the peak hours, you can configure the virtual machines or the machines. You can increase the capacity both on the processor side as well as the memory side. Once the particular peak period is done, then automatically you can configure to the scale down to the its original solution. So that is possible on the cloud servers. So in between the on premises on the cloud services, we have something called hosted servers. For example, if you are registering in a particular website on a godaddy.com or a bigrock.in, so what happens is you will be creating a domain name, then you will be hosting your HTML files or the .NET files, whatever the files that you have, that you will be hosting into their servers. Okay, so automatically what they will be doing is they will be again internally they will be maintaining the backups of your files and everything. So again, so when you have in a peak period, so you need to contact them earlier to that. you need to tell them, so for this, so for example, for taking a Christmas period, so I want my application to be run with this, so like an 8 GB of RAM or 12 GB of RAM, and having an extra capacity as in the processor side as well as the storage side. So once it's done, so you need to again contact them to reduce the hardware specification. So this will be, again, it's in a kind of a manual process. If you are not doing it unnecessarily, you will be incurring extra cost for the not used hardware capacities. If you go for a cloud servers, you can do the automatically scale down as well as the scale up, so everything is possible. And all the data Microsoft is having got a lot of certifications as well on the auditing as well as the security, everything. So when you want to store the data, so there won't be any data loss. They have replicating the servers into a different geographical locations, so that's the reason there won't be any data loss. So they have a specific license agreement for the data loss as well. So that's the reason they are giving like 99.99 percentage uptime. Okay, so now let's see to the uses of Azure. So as we saw some of the features, so all the data will be stored in the cloud system, and we will be accessing over the internet. No storage or computing capacity will be used from the local machines. So the important feature here is elasticity on demand. So as we discussed, when there is a demand of the high sale or high promotion, so automatically we can do the virtual machines scale in and scale out. And another option is you no need to pay for the additional hardware, so you will be paying only what you use. So that is the another advantages of the costing wise. So how we can access the Azure? So there are different ways where you can access the Azure application. So one is the very wider people will be using the portal.azure.com in the web browser. So that is the easiest way. And even you can use the Android Play Store as well as the Apple Store. So you can download the Microsoft Azure applications and you can install it on your mobile, and even you can access it. But if you're using it via the browser, so you will have the more flexibility and options. So some of the options may not be available on the mobile applications. So if at all I want to use the Azure, so what are the requirements that I needed? So one is you wanted to have a valid email ID as well as the mobile number for verifications, and you need a credit card, and you need a valid subscriptions. So when we look at the subscription, there are three different types of subscriptions are available. One is the free trial, which is free for 1 month with a limit of like an 200 US dollars. And the student offers, it is very similar to the free trial, but you no need to have a credit card. But the only thing is you need to validate your college email ID. So that is the one validate things is required. Otherwise you can use pay as you go. So that means whatever you use, you can pay for it. So, what are the service offerings are available in Microsoft Azure? So, when we look at the different services, it provides the compute services and it provides the web and mobile applications. For the developer services, it uses the Visual Studio, Azure DevOps, where you can compile your code and automatically you can deploy it. So, and you can use the integration services. For example, you can use the Azure serverless functions, which can be integrated with the different streams of applications. Okay, so there are a lot of different services are available. Okay, and always there are like 40 plus services are free. So you can see there the list is bigger, so I couldn't bring everything, but there you can see some of the services are available only during your free trial period. Once your trial period is done, there are some more services which will be completely free as per the Microsoft. So they may be changing it, but it is called always free services are available. Okay, so let's directly get into the demo. So before going to the demo, I just wanted to show one thing. So when you registered a first time the Azure account, when you log into the Azure portal, so you can see the start with the free trial or access student benefits. So when you click the student benefits, so you can see the registration process as well. So if I possible, I will show you. So otherwise, we'll get into the demo. For the demo, so I'm going to create a new virtual machine, so that goes as the infrastructure as a service. Then we will be installing the Microsoft Internet Information Server. Then we will be creating a very simple hello world application. Then we will host it. Then we will be accessing it outside the Azure area. So that's a one demo. So another demo is we will be using something called app services. So that will be part of the information as, sorry infrastructure, sorry, platform as a services. Then again, there also we are going to do very similar thing. So we are going to host a simple HTML application and we will be accessing over the internet. So let me switch to the demo. So let me bring. Okay, so here we can see it. So I'm just logged into the portal.azure.com. So once you log in, you will be landed into this page. Okay, so first of all, what we are going to see today is, so we are going to set up a new virtual machines and we will be installing a uh, internet information services. Then we will be accessing it outside the in the internet. So let me go to the virtual machines. So here you can create two types of machines. For example, basically you can create a Windows virtual machines, or you can create the Linux based virtual machines. So I have clicked the create a virtual machine. Okay, so here I have as I don't have any free trial, or I don't have any the student offer, so I'm using the pay as you go option. So I have two different subscription, that's what it is displaying here. So the resource group is nothing but a kind of a logical grouping. So when you want to see the billing, so which resources are using more amount, or which is costing more, incurring the most cost, to identify that, it's called a resource group. And when we want to apply some certain permissions for the access, so that's also applicable based on the resource group. So let me create a new resource group. So I'll just put demo, Azure demo 1 as a resource group. So then I'm going to name the virtual machine as win1. Then the region is nothing but which locations you want to the server to be placed. Okay, so we can select different locations. So when you are specifically looking for an machine, so that you, for example, if you have an Indian users or more, then you can use the Asia specific, or even we have an option in India also, we can use it. Otherwise, based on the user, you can define the location. So I'm just leaving it as a default. Okay, so I'm choosing the Windows 2016 server as the default OS. So otherwise, if I want to use any Linux based, so yes, I can use it. So I'm just going for a simplest one as the Windows server. Then here it is asking me the standard D2 SV3. It has the two CPUs and 8 GB of memory, 8 GB of memory. If you want to use it, you can use it, or if you want to change, you can change that. So even you can see, click the see all sizes. It will load the different virtual machines with the different sizes with the costing as well. So you can see here, so what is the cost per month. So when the machine runs for 24/7 for 30 days, so what will be the cost. So that's what it is will be given here. So you can see the RAM column, so how much the RAM is, you can use it, and what will be the hard disk capacity as well. So I'm just choosing the D2VS3 just for the demo purpose. So if I run this machine for 24/7 for 30 days for a month, then I will be billed for almost 10,000 rupees. So I'm just giving select. So here it says selected. So here I'm giving the administrator username. So I'm just giving my name as the administrator name. I'm setting up the administrator password for this machine. So let me out. Okay. Okay, so it is asking me what are the ports that you want to allow to access it outside the application. So I'm just giving the RDB port so that I can connect the machine remotely from a local machine. So I'm just giving the RDB port, and it is asking whether do you want to use your existing license. If you have your Windows key, the digital license or whatever that you have, you can use this. Otherwise, it will be charged for that as well. So I'm just clicking next. So here I'm selecting the solid state drive as my premium SSD, or if you want to use a different SSD also, you can use it. So the premium SSD will have the more response rate on the reading and writing purpose. If you use the standard HDD, so it will have a kind of a lower response rate. So I'm using the premium. If you want to add any other extra additional hard disk, yes, you can add it. Or if you have an existing hard disk that is available within your Azure network, then you can use that, add an existing disk as well. So, and networking. So these are the virtual network configurations. So I'm not going to change anything. So we will go with whatever it is there. And even I'm not configuring any load balancing as well. So I'm just trying to make it very simple so that you can start with the virtual machines. So that's the reason I'm not changing anything. Then review and create. So it gives me the hourly rate as well. So if I run this machine per hour, so it gives me like 13 rupees change. Then I'm creating it. So we can see the status here. So when you click the activity, so it will gives all the details. So in the meantime, okay, so now the it is started creating the virtual machine based on the given configurations. So it will just take only few minutes. So you assume that you wanted a new machine and you are requesting in your college or in your office environment. So definitely they will take at least in a day to set up the machine, and they will hand over to you. Okay, but here within a few minutes, so we can get the virtual machines up and running, and we can directly start using it. So it is configured all the network things. So even we can get the public IP address so that we can access it over the internet as well. Yeah, so we got the virtual machines got ready. So it says your deployment is completed, and we got the virtual machine. So I'll just click the go to resource so that it will directly go to the virtual machines. So you can see the win one, that's what we have given as the virtual machines. Okay, so when you click connect, so it will be asking you to the remotely connect to that machine. So we are going to do that. So I'm just telling use the remote desktop protocol. So it uses the default one. So I'm just trying to connect. I'm not changing anything. Okay, so before doing that, so I'll come here. So here you can see the options. So if you want to restart the virtual machine, you can restart it. If you want to stop it, you can stop it. Or if you want to delete the virtual machines entirely, you can use the delete options. So this capture is nothing but when you want to create a kind of a template for a particular virtual machine. For example, I'm creating a virtual machine for all the computer science students, okay, or computer department students, okay. So what I will do is I will create a one machine with all the softwares installed and configured. Okay. Then once the virtual machine is up and running, everything is validated, then I can use this capture option. Then what happens is it creates a snapshot of that particular machine. So then I can use that snapshot to create n number of virtual machines rather than installing the virtual machine and configuring all the softwares. I can configure one virtual machine with all the softwares configured. Then I can use the capture option. Then I can just do a cloning of the same machine. So that is the use of the capture. Okay, then here you can see all the basic informations about these virtual machines. So this will be this virtual machines public IP address. So we are going to use this for few minutes. That's called, it is available here. So mm, that's all the informations here I want to share it. Then I'll go to the virtual machine in the remote desktop. So I'll take that. Let me give the username whatever I have given. I'm just getting into this machine. So this is the infrastructure as a service. So we got the machine. So we defined the machines whatever we wanted. So everything we need to configure it. So the virtual machine is getting loaded. Yes, we got the virtual machine. So now what we are going to do is, so here we are going to install something called Internet Information Services. Let me go to the control. Sorry. Let me go to the control panel. So I'll go for turn on, turn off features. Okay, so I'm going to install some of the features. So I'm giving add roles and features. Just it's loading, that's what it's giving the warning. As I the first time it updates a lot of information, so that's a reason. Yeah. So yes, so we got this option. So let me go click. So I'm not going to change any of the default options. So I'm just trying to install IAS on this machine, that nothing but the web server. So I'm just clicking the web server, add features, next. I'm not changing anything, so I'm just only clicking next, install. So now it will be installing the internet information services. So it will take just max of 2 or 3 minutes. And when you go to the virtual machine hard disks,
Excuse me, Murli sir.
yes,
Sorry to interrupt you, but can you just zoom it out the screen because it's not visible out there.
you're not able to see the remote machine.
Uh, well, yes. Can you just zoom it out?
So now also you're not able to see it.
Yeah, Tiwari is saying, sir, will you please zoom it out because it is too small to read.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hope this is fine now. So it is just installing it. So it will take another a minute to complete it. Yeah, it says the installation is completed. So let's go and click close. Okay. So now let me just go back. Okay, so let's come here. So as we got the application, the public IP address, so let's go and try to access it. As we have installed the Internet Information Services, generally once it started the IAS, we should be able to access it. So I think okay, so we need to open a port called 80 here. So let me go to the networking. If you remember, we have allowed only the ODP port while installing the or while configuring the virtual machines. Now we need to open the port 80. So that's the reason it says the site cannot be reached. So let me come back here. So I'll open the port 80. Then I'll do OK. So it is applying the some of the security rules. Now we can able to access the web application inside the machine as well. Okay, so if I refresh, we should get the IIS up and running. Let me see whether, yeah, it's back. So we got this application. So this is the default Internet Information Services page. So you can see here. So we have created a virtual machines. We installed the Internet Information Services, and we got the default page while accessing it via the browser. So now what I will do is I'll just have a very simple Hello World application. So it's not very fancy. I'll just go and put this page into the server. Then we will access it. Okay. So it's just a very simple hello world. I'll just save this. I'll just go. I'm just saving it to the default page of these applications. Okay, so I saved it. Now I'm coming to the browser. So I'm just telling HTML. So we got the our hello world application. So from the our virtual machine, it's got served. So we used the Azure to get the virtual machine, and we configured it and we installed the IIS. Then we deployed our application. It's a very simple hello world application, and we were able to access it. Okay, so this is the basic usage of the virtual machine to get started with. The next one what I would like to share is nothing but the app services. So we'll go to the app services. So app service is nothing but already Microsoft installed the one operating system, and they have an application server like an Apache or Internet Information Services. We are directly going and hosting our application, so that's called the app services. So that's the reason it is called platform as a services. Already Microsoft is built the platform, we are just going to consume it. So now I'll go and create a new okay, so I have already configured one, so let me just go and see that. So I'll just click browse. So you can see here it comes with a domain name like sdev demo azurewebsites.net. Here also I just created a very hello world application. So you can see here. So this is the default page. So I think okay, it says it's not found. Let me just go and see the details. So okay, so let's go and create a new app services in the meantime. So I'll click create. So I'll click create app services. Okay, so it is asking in which resource group that you want to place it. So I'm just choosing the existing one. So what should be your demo? It is asking. So as demo. Okay, so this is will be the application accessing point. So then I'm just leaving all the other options. So it is telling what should be the hardware details, what kind of hardware details that you want to use it. So I can go and change it. So there is an option where you can use the dev and test. So there should be enough free services. So if you use the 1 GB of memory, 60 minutes per day compute is free. So I'm choosing this one. So then I'm just clicking review and create it. So this will be it will be creating me an option. So it will be choosing a specific application server with this configuration, and it will provide me the IaaS option to host my application. So it says basic step. So okay, so it is asking me which runtime stack that I need to use, whether I'm going to use in a .NET application or it's in a Java application or Node or PHP, Python, Ruby. So I'm going to use very simple HTML. So I'm just using the .NET so that I no need to configure anything extra. So I'm just clicking create. So now it will be created. So this app services will directly provide you an IaaS, kind of an IaaS, where you can directly host your application. So you no need to worry about what kind of virtual machine they are using, what kind of hardware they are using it. We no need to worry about it. It just directly gives us an option to host our applications. So it's getting deployed. So it's a home.html. So this is the one that I have configured previously. So it says home.html. It gives the hello world. So let's come back and see our app services. So it says it's the deployment succeeded. So go to the resource. I'll click go to resource. We'll get a bunch of option to how to host this application. If you click the browse, it will take you to the default page. So you can see the domain name. It says EAZS appsdemo.azurewebsites.net, and this is the default page. Okay, so now we'll go and host our page. So I'll go to the console, the app services editor, under the development tools option. So I click the app service editor, I'm clicking go. So it will give me an option where I can upload my files or I can edit the existing files. So it is reloading. So it's loading it. Okay, so by default, this is the default HTML page that we are seeing it here. So instead of that, I want to put my hello world data. So you can see here just it's a hello world. So then it's saying it's saved. So I'm coming here, I'm just refreshing it. So we got the hello world. So this is the another option where I didn't create any virtual machines. I didn't configure the internet information services. All I have done is what kind of machines I wanted, what kind of the runtime stack that I want to use, whether I'm going to host an .NET application or Python PHP application. That's all I have chosen. Then I'm uploading my files. Then the application start up and running. So these are the two demos that I wanted to cover today. Then I'm coming back to the slide. Okay, so is there is any question and questions, Sudhir? Okay, so if nothing is found, then so thanks for the options. Thanks for Sudhir and for the college HODs as well as the lecturers who are wanted the students to be learn on the Azure options. And thanks for the Reskill community as well as the Azure developer community as well. Thank you. Sudhir, back to you.
Thanks Murli for this wonderful session and looking forward for more such sessions. Thank you everyone. Thank you audience for being patient till the end and we will be there bringing you such amazing session to you. So stay tuned with us. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.